Hi Danny, I'm Mert Lawwill, as you well know, and I'm here to wish you a happy birthday and to tell you what's happened while you weren't knowing what was going on. Your wife Brenda contacted me and asked me to build a street tracker for you. So with that thought in mind, we came to an agreement that I would build it, and I said, okay, let me tell you, Danny, a little bit about what this project's all about. Now, back in 2005, when I decided to make this series of street trackers, I wanted a limited edition. So I made sure that there was only going to be a maximum of 20 of these ever made. That helps the collector value of the motorcycle, and as time goes on, it'll just be worth more and more as a very private Mert Lawwill series of street trackers. So I decided to make a street tracker that mimicked my XR 750 Harley Davidson dirt track racer. So with that thought in mind, I came to the closest motorcycle that I could get that would look like that, and it turned out to be the Harley Davidson Sportster 1200R. Now that bike had a lot of different things about it than what we have in the dirt tracker, so it took a lot of work. The first thing that I discovered when I got the bike and began to work on it was that the exhaust pipes were on the wrong side. Well, if they're on the wrong side, it's not going to look like an XR 750 Harley Davidson race bike. Well, that was no easy task to remove the pipes from the right side and put them to the left side. So I had to go to a foundry and have new cylinder heads cast. And with that, I was able to move the exhaust ports to the left side, and then that provided for dual carburetors on the right side. So after I did that, then I discovered the cams were wrong, because the one used to be an intake is now on exhaust and vice versa. So I had special cams made for the project. Then, after I got that going, I discovered that it needed a better ignition system than what it had. So I put a different ignition system on it. So now we have really only the three things that are different from the bike, and that's the cylinder heads, the exhaust system, and now it's dual carburetors, and the ignition system. And that's really all that I did to the engine. From there, I went to the frame, and the frame was completely unsuitable for a street tracker. It was way too heavy, it didn't have good steering geometry, and so I decided to save what few parts that I needed off of the frame, such as the rubber mount engine lugs that we mount the engine into the frame. I cut those out of the standard frame and eliminated all of the standard tubing, just threw a brand new frame away, essentially, and created a brand new frame. Well, the brand new frame is a totally handcrafted frame, and it is now replaced with chromoly 4130 tubing, which as a racer you'll know what that is. And that way I was able to keep the strength of the frame and save a lot of weight. As long as I was redesigning the frame, I thought, well, I'll give it some modern technology. So I went to a design that I've proven on my downhill mountain bicycle, and that's to use two swing arms on the rear instead of a single swing arm. Well, this gives the motorcycle a completely different characteristic in the way that it handles. First of all, when you turn the throttle on, normally the motorcycle will squat and then you take off. This does the opposite. It's more like a drag racer. When you turn the throttle on, the rear rises and it tries to plant the front end. So it makes it hard to do wheelies. It's not really a wheelie bike, but it makes it really good for doing cruising in the mountains where there's a lot of turns, because this bike likes to turn left and right. So when you come around the corner, you can nail the throttle hard, and instead of lifting high and going wide, the front end will plant and around the corner it comes. So that's the biggest handling difference that you're going to notice with this chassis. Now, one of the problems that I had, Danny, when I decided to use these two swing arms, that it uses a single shock. Well, the location for the shock, there was no place to put it, so I had to put it in the center of the frame, right underneath where my hand is here. Well, when I put the shock there, then there was no place for the oil tank. So I had to hand make and create this oil tank and mount it on the side and double it up as a number plate. Now, one of the things that you might be wondering about is why the number 5. Well, Brenda picked number 5 for you because that was the number that was on your race car when you won Indianapolis back in 1985. And we took it one step further, and down on your nameplate that comes with the motorcycle, it has a serial number, and it also has the number 5 in that. So the serial number starts with 05, which was the year that this private series of motorcycles began, and it ends with 05, which is the number that you have on the motorcycle. So with that said, I think it's time probably to go to the dyno and do a little dyno test just to tune it up. It's not a race bike, so we don't have to worry too much about that. We just want it to run well, and I will see you at the dyno room. As you can tell, we've changed our location now. We're at Factory Pro in San Rafael, and this is where we're going to run the dyno and give this bike a tune-up. But before we run on the dyno, I want you to meet a couple of the guys involved in this project. Number one, on my left, is Marc Salvisberg, who is the owner and operator of Dyno Pro here. And so, Marc, welcome to the group here, and thank you for running this bike for Danny.
Thank you, Mert. Happy birthday. And I'm going to try to give 30 years worth of my experience to your 30 years worth of experience. Thank you.
Okay. And next I'd like you to meet Jimmy Dour. He's a Megacycle, which is also here in San Rafael. He did the cams, a special design cam that Jimmy did for me for this bike, and so he's here to watch how the new cams work on this bike. So Jimmy?
Hi Danny, good luck with this. I'm sure you'll have a good time with it. Be safe, and we'll talk to you soon.
Well, Danny, here I am. I'm back at the house now. We've concluded the dyno run. Everything runs great. I know you're going to love the bike, and I wish you a happy times with it, and I'm sure you'll enjoy it. We'll stay in touch. See you later.